Hey crew, it's Pitt. And I'm back with another reaction video. Today we're going to be checking out another new artist. This is from Appalachia Untold. This is Brennan Edwards, Until I Bleed. Let's dig in and see what's up. Before we even start, I love the scenery that these people are bringing us. Like, I love every time they bring us a new beautiful backdrop. I'm just like, what's in that hole? Like, I just want to go explore. So I have to take a second and refocus on the music because your boys out here already killing it on the guitar, right? Whatever.
Will you see me when I lose my sense of sight? When I lose control of me, myself, and I? When it feels like I've got nothing left inside? Will you search for me when I'm lost in my mind? Sorry that I'm not the man I seem to be, though I know that he's still there somewhere in me. I don't know exactly what it is I need, but I know my wounds won't heal until I bleed.
This is an interesting song, and I'm not sure where I'm going. Like, I'm not sure where it's pulling me, right? On the one hand, it feels like he's exposing himself, and that's a good thing, right? You're talking about the big emotions. You're out there talking about the things and how it makes you feel. But on the other hand, it feels almost like he's looking for an outside source of redemption for that, and that's not a thing, right? And so I'm unsure of where I'm being pulled, but it's still pulling me somewhere. So I'm very much entrenched in this. Like, y'all know, if I'm stopping and talking about it, I'm loving it, right? And sometimes it's like I stop every bar, and then sometimes we stop and we talk and think because there's a lot going on right here, man. Like, it's beautiful. I love it.
Well, I know that you're my woman, and I know that I'm your man, and I know that I can't do much more than do the best I can. Oh, but lately it just feels I don't deserve to have your hand holding mine and trying to keep me on my feet when I can't stand.
All right. Now that feeling I know. That feeling I know deeply, right? Y'all know my story. Some of y'all know my story, some of y'all don't. But for those of you who don't, we get to share it again, right? I'm injured. Like I have 13 discs that are messed up. 7 of them are bulging, 6 of them are herniated, 3 of them impinge my spinal cord. I have spinal stenosis, I have scoliosis, and I have degenerative disc disorder, and that is the beginning of the things that are wrong with my back. I have some kind of disorder that makes it where my left side don't work. And so I feel I don't feel worthy to the bone. Like I feel that deeply because it's taken me a long time to come to the realization that not all of my worth is in physical labor, right? I grew up where the only reward was for a physical thing. So, like, if you did the right thing, there was a possibility that you would be rewarded. Not a guarantee by any means, but a possibility. But if you did the wrong thing, you definitely got the wrong reward. And so, the actions were the reward. And to me, being able to provide was part of who I was, right? I was a big, strong dude, at least. Yeah, I fucked off with my mind and I didn't do anything nearly what my potential held there, right? I was too happy being stupid. I wanted to fit in too much to be intelligent. And so I went with the crowd and I chose bad things. I chose to sell dope and I chose to build houses. I chose to go into plants and work construction. And those are great jobs. You make great money, but they beat the shit out of you. And you don't have you can have a lot of fun, but it's not great working conditions most of the time. But I was able to provide. And that's all I wanted to do. I wanted to be able to provide for my wife and my family. And then it got taken from me, not once, but twice, right? Working the plants, I blew out my shoulder. I lost 20% of my ability in my arm regardless. I'll never get that back, but I got 80% back, and I had 2 surgeries on that. That took me a lot to get through, and that took me down the opioid path, right? But at least I was able to come back from that one. I got hit in a wreck. I got my car wrecked. It wrecked my back. And there is no coming back from this. The problem, the 3 impingements, is directly between my shoulder blades. The only way to get through them is to go through my lungs. And they have to go through both of them to fix the problem. And that's a problem because there's a really, really high rate of death for that particular operation. And they have to do it twice. And so that's not an option. There is no fixing it. I have to live with the fact that I can no longer ever provide. And it's not like I can even go out and get a job at McDonald's because I can't stand that long. I can't flip burgers that long. I can't take orders that long. And that's just the reality of my life. Sometimes I have to lay down because I break out in tremors that I just can't control and they can't explain. And so I feel it to my bones. When I say that I feel it to my bones, I mean that. I had taken from me the last time I got to pick up my children. I never got to throw a ball with my kids. I never got to play football with my son. I never got to. So when I say I feel it to my bones. There's nobody outside of you that is going to get you out of that. And that's just the reality of life. That's not putting any aspersions on any woman anywhere. I'm married to the best woman on the planet, I promise you that. And she did everything she could, but it's within me to get me out of that hole. Now you should be able to expect to be able to expose your feelings like he did to her here, and like I'm doing to you here, without the fear of a retaliation from your partner. And you should be able to work out through these things together. That's a thing that should happen. But you should never have an expectation for someone else to be able to pull you out of that darkness. God is there for you, and you are there for you. And you have to assume the responsibility. And that's a hard thing to hear. I know that in my bones. I love you.
Will you hear me when my words don't come out right? When I can't think straight and my soul starts to fly. When it seems like all I wanna do is fight. Yet all I really wanna do is set things right.
There's a level of responsibility there. And I say this as a violent, angry man. Now, here we go again, right? Here we go again, right? And I mean this never with any malice, right? I was a violent, angry person. I had a rough childhood. We're not even going to get into that, I promise you. But I like to hit things. I like to hurt things. And I had to take the responsibility for that too, right? You don't get to, right? She should never. And here's the promise that I had to do, right? As a violent, angry person, to take responsibility for myself. I've never raised my voice to my wife. I do not, that is the responsibility that I have to take. Anybody else is fair game. My wife and my children are not. And so They have never seen me raise my voice to them. Until very recently, they'd never seen me raise my voice at all. Because around them, I don't allow it. And that's the level of responsibility you have to take. And that's a tough one. That's another one of those really tough ones to hear. Right? We on a ball today. Now, you are entitled to your emotions. You're supposed to feel them. They're letting you know something is wrong. And when you feel that anger, you need to find out how to channel that anger not through violence. Right? It's okay to be angry. It is not okay to act out on that anger. That's a hard one to hear as a violent, angry person. Like, you would meet me today and you wouldn't know I'm a violent, angry person because I've chosen to remove that from my life. I took that level of responsibility on myself. I don't expect the world to conform to me. Like, people do stupid things all the time. And I used to be out there screaming at them all the time. And I don't do that anymore. I try not to. I try to pick my battles very, very wisely. Choose your enemies wisely. Your wife should not be your enemy, right? You should not have the expectation ever that she will take you hollering at her, right? With very few exceptions, there is no reason to ever raise your voice in anger at your spouse. And if you're doing it, you're doing life wrong.
I know that you're my woman, and I know that I'm your man, and I know that I can't do much more than do the best I can. Oh, but lately it just feels I don't deserve to have your hand holding mine and trying to keep me on my feet when I can't stand. Will you see me when I lose my sense of sight? When it feels like I've got nothing left inside?
That was absolutely beautiful. I love every single song where a man is talking about what his problems are, where he's talking about where he's trying to find solutions even. So I do expect a lot. I do, right? I expect a man to be in control of his emotions, and not to the point where you don't have any, not to the point where they're irrelevant, not to the point where you're completely stoic, because that is foolish. Life is about balance. And you're supposed to feel your emotions. You're supposed to feel fear because the situation is dangerous. And you're supposed to feel anger because there is something wrong in the situation. Now, it could be the other person that's wrong, but it could be you that is wrong too. And instead of getting violent with that anger, try to find out why it's there. It is never acceptable to raise your voice in anger to your wife, your children. It's never really acceptable to do it to anyone else. It's really not. It's never okay to hit somebody for a word. If your life is not in immediate harm, like if somebody's not trying to rob you or assault you, you don't have the right to put your hands on people. If there's not an immediate threat, you don't have the right to do that. You don't have the right to intimidate someone into seeing your way of doing things. You have the right to have emotions. You can feel sadness because shit happens. You can feel anxiety because shit might happen. You are not allowed to let those things rule your life. You're not allowed to use those things as an excuse. Because Everybody feels them. Everybody feels anger. Everybody feels sadness. Everybody feels these things. But you don't get the special exception because yours is more intense. You don't. And if you have to, then you need the medications because the medications are tools for people who can't regulate themselves. You should be able to safely release your anger. And it's really hard to get into in a video on how to do that, but you can remove yourself from the situation. You can take time in the situation. You can do various decompression tactics to lower the anger level. But the anger is there to tell you something is wrong. You're meant to feel the anger. You're not meant to take it out on someone. You're meant to feel sorrow because something's gone, but you're not meant to live in sorrow because someone's gone. You're meant to feel anxiety because there's a bill due and you're not sure if you're going to be able to pay it, but you're not meant to not ever sleep so you don't perform at work and you get fired. Yes, it's okay. Those things are there. Anxiety it's there to let you know there's a reason to be anxious, but it is not meant to grab your life. None of these emotions are meant to hold on to you. They are tools for you to use so that you know what's going on around you. Y'all make sure y'all get back over to Appalachia Untold and give Brennan Edwards some love. Let him know you appreciate what he's doing. I do. Right? I love every single time I see one of these artists exposing themselves. And I'm never, ever attacking an artist when I do this. These topics that come up, I filter them through me. I filter them through my path and my journey and where I have been. Because I have been here. To the crew, thanks for hanging out. I appreciate every single minute that you are here with me. I'm praying for you every single day. Until next time, I love you. God loves you, and you are perfect, whole, and complete just the way that you are. This has been Pitt State. Peace.